All right, so to get our proportions and our sizing down for our sculptures, we're going to start off just with tracing our hand and really making sure that our sizes are accurate. So when we sculpt it, we're sure to have something to compare it to, life size where we can measure that's not actually our hand. So we're going to start off with tracing our hand. When you go to trace it, make sure that your pencil's straight up and down. So when you're tracing it, it ends up being the correct width. Because if you tilt your pencil in, it's amazing what a difference it can make, and you can end up with ridiculously small hands, like that is not even close to the size of my hand. Or the opposite, if my pencil is out, I can end up with something that's far too massive there. So remember that first one is the one in the middle right there. And once we do that, we're going to actually measure the heights and the widths of things. So try to keep your three tracings all at the same height. So the top knuckle is the same. Mine's close, not quite perfect, but it's pretty close. So now I have it measured once this way, once, there we go, once that way, and then the third one, really awkward, bending this way and tracing that. And once you do that, and we're measuring things, if I'm measuring across these knuckles or across my middle knuckle here, I want that to also be the same height that I'm measuring this. And that was about 1.5 inches down. It always takes me a second to get my hand back in this position. So that was about 1.5 inches down where I did that. There we go, 1.5 inches, which gives me that line. And so that was 3 inches wide there, 2 inches wide on the pinky side here, and then on my thumb side, because your thumb is bigger, that was 2 3/4. So keep in mind, this is your thumb, your thumb's down, but if you were, it would more be if your thumb was like, if you were looking at your thumb, that's how wide it would be, like this. So that's the reverse, the mirror image of that. Also notice the wrist. So if I'm looking at this where my palm meets my wrist, that's about 2 inches wide here. It's 1 1/8 on my pinky side and a little bit wider on my thumb side, which I suppose makes sense since we have more volume here on the wrist versus on the pinky side.